Okay, so back to our regional areas of the United States and some of their culture and characteristics. And just south of the Deep South is a very small, unique area of America. It's called New France. And if you take a look at our map, you can see that New France is not only in the very south of the United States, but also connects to a region in Canada, a province called Quebec. There's a very deep historical reason for that. Of course, remembering that France was one of the major players in early North American colonial history. And as a result of the treaties after what was called French and Indian Wars, which was really nothing more than probably the First World War between England and France. They had been fighting each other for a while in Europe and brought that fight to North America. So at the British win, barely, and the treaties that were drawn up during that colonial time created some French areas that were still left after those treaties were signed. So Quebec in Canada is a French-speaking province. Part of the reason why in Canada there are two national languages, English and French, and there is this really peculiar little island off the coast of Newfoundland called St. Pierre Marguerite in North America, which is actually French territory. You could go there today. There are the French gendarmes, which are the police force of France. I mean, it's a French colony in the middle of North America that still exists today. Okay, so back to our area, New France in America. This is the area that surrounds New Orleans, and a heavy pocket in early colonial times of French. So New France is a little pocket of liberalism nestled in the Deep South. Its people are consensus-driven, they're very tolerant, and they're comfortable with government involvement in the economy. Our author, Woodard, says New France is among the most liberal places in North America. New France is focused around New Orleans in Louisiana, as well as the Canadian province in Quebec, which we just talked about. So New Orleans is nearly 300 years old. It's a mix of African American, French, Spanish, and Caribbean traditions to create unique forms of music, food, and culture found nowhere else in America. The key part of Louisiana culture finds its roots in the French period. Creole songs influenced the blues and jazz, and Creole is a kind of a mixed language. English, French, African, kind of all combined into one to make its own very unique language and other cultural items. They're called Cajun. Cajun music is often sung in French language and remains very much alive today. New Orleans is famous for its carnival season, with its height on a day called Mardi Gras. And this just testifies to a long-lived Roman Catholic heritage. The Cajun people are among one of the most unique cultures and ethnic groups in the United States. Primarily located in rural southern Louisiana, the culture is defined by its French roots, which are easily seen in their own distinct Cajun French dialect, societal norms, music, and food. The main musical instrument of Cajun music is the fiddle, which is a kind of violin. And gradually, another instrument called the accordion has come to share the limelight with the fiddle. Cajun music gained national attention in 2007 when the Grammy Awards created a category especially for Cajun music. The holiday of Mardi Gras, famous. Thousands and thousands of people go to New Orleans to celebrate the Carnival of Mardi Gras. Easter is also a huge holiday celebrated in Louisiana. A song called Mississippi Queen in 1970 by a group called Mountain is about a Cajun woman visiting from Mississippi. A dish called jambalaya is a one-pot Creole dish. Brown meat. Another food is called gumbo, and it can be traced back for centuries. It usually has a lot of Cajun staples and green onions and rice. Of course, the area is famous for jazz music. A kind of jazz started there called Dixieland. Also, rhythm and blues and rock and roll. So, New Orleans, Louisiana area is easily the jazz music mecca. Louis Armstrong, a famous trumpet player, was among some of the city's most celebrated jazz musicians who helped to pioneer the genre. An area within the city is called the French Quarter, and it's known for its French and Spanish Creole architecture and a vibrant nightlife along a famous street called Bourbon Street. New Orleans is also known for a kind of offbeat religion called Voodoo Catholicism. It's a religion connected to nature, spirits, ancestors. It came from when people in Haiti, a nearby Caribbean island, left Haiti during a slave revolt in 1791, moved to New Orleans and brought their religion with them. It's still practiced today. You'll see it in the streets and shops. So a couple of movies that really depict and were shot on location in New Orleans. One of the more famous is a movie called JFK. And it was directed by American film director, screenwriter, and producer Oliver Stone. It's a historical legal conspiracy thriller that examines how a district attorney in New Orleans, played by Kevin Costner, discovers that there are more details to the Kennedy assassination than the official story suggests. It's an adaptation from two books, one of them called On the Trail of the Assassins by the district attorney, whose name is Jim Garrison, and another book called Crossfire, The Plot That Killed Kennedy by Jim Marrs. The film was very controversial in American newspapers. They claimed that Stone was taking liberties with historical facts, including President Lyndon Johnson's implication in the Kennedy murders. However, it earned $200 million in worldwide gross sales. It won 2 Academy Awards and earned Oliver Stone a Golden Globe for Best Director. Another movie called A Streetcar Named Desire, filmed on location in New Orleans. Starred an unknown actor of the time named Marlon Brando. And this really put Brando's career, heightened his work and future as an actor. The nickname for New Orleans is called the Big Easy, which became the set in New Orleans about a detective who falls in love with a district attorney. The nickname may be a reference to the easy and of new struggling musicians to find work, or it could be a reference to how easy it was to get alcohol during Prohibition. So during the Prohibition times, of course, alcohol is illegal everywhere in the United States, except New Orleans, which it was illegal, but nobody paid attention, and the police just didn't enforce the law. Some famous people you may know from New Orleans. Truman Capote, famous American author, as well as William Faulkner. Tennessee Williams, a playwright. Clay Shaw was a businessman, the only person brought to court in connection to the assassination of JFK. Carlos Marcello was a businessman and a mafia boss headquartered in New Orleans. Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin in the JFK case, was from New Orleans. Sandra Bullock, the actress, resident of New Orleans, as well as Ellen DeGeneres, and who is a famous talk show host. So we have a little short video taking you on a little tour through New Orleans. Very unique, interesting, hidden cultural part of America. Hope you enjoy.